Good morning and thank you for joining us. This is Off the Press on Plus TV Africa. As always, I'm not alone. My name is Felicity. I have Ekene Ezeji, a social commentator, here with us. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, good morning. Happy week to you.
I wish you the same. All right, let's see what's starting the week off for all of us. We have a couple of papers. We'll start with Vanguard newspaper. Confusion as police seal anti-theft bodies officers. It has office sealed based on complaint. That's the police speaking. That's it on your screen now. Obonobla in Cross River says not perturbed by SAC news. Adds its corruption fighting back. You find story on page 9 of the paper. Confusion as police seal anti-theft bodies officers. Which of the anti-theft body? All inside the paper. We also have the Eid al-Kabir prayers. The president is on the front page. I don't know if we could just flip to that quickly. The picture on the front page of the Vanguard newspaper has the president with all the dignitaries. There you have it. 5 siblings left in neighbor's care burnt to death in Lagos. That's a sad one I saw last night and I just couldn't take it in. Of one family all crushed out. Murder of IRT operatives. Army captain allegedly arrested, probably as a result of the investigation. We also have Eid al-Kabir, can Labour governors, others preach peace, national unity. Ganduje continues battle with Emir Sanusi, others district heads to shun Saladaba. We also have State of the Nation, let's work for growth, not suppression. And that's Tinubu speaking. Let's move to the top of the paper. Just above the masthead, you will see red tape. Federal civil servants remain uninsured for second year. And then we have something on South Africa. Jiltry of announced call for protest against its businesses. We also have killings. Akwa Ibom government warns headsmen. On the back page is the usual sports capture, a recap of all the latest trending stories from the weekend. That's it on your screen. We'll get to that in a bit. Let's just start with the headline here. Okay, over to you.
Yes, well, the anti-theft bodies office is being sealed off. There were rumors that apparently the man in charge was being suspended or sacked, and he hasn't heard about it. Even the spokesperson for the president said they're not able to confirm that. He's responding by saying that he's not perturbed because he believes it's part of the fact that he's probing some very top high-ranking officials who he believes are connected to power. That's why he feels he's getting this backlash. Again, it makes you realize how much discord there is, even at the echelons of those who say that.
Yeah.
It's really troubling because people are, not only are people fighting back if he's right, they're fighting back in such a way that they can actually use the same people, the same authorities that are meant to be safeguarding us to fight back. That's what makes me uncomfortable. So it's one thing to have disruptive people who are aggrieved in power. Of course, we'll always have corruption in every part of the world. But the fact that they have the power to fight back in such a way as this, as to cause confusion, why would they have the power to seal off the offices of the anti-theft body? That's troubling. That's telling you that these people are not only confident, but they also have the influence to reach as far as this. So that's very
for those that are wondering, it is the Office of the Chairman Special Presidential Investigation Panel on the Recovery of Public Property. Yeah. That's it on page 9 of the paper. That's where I'm looking at right now. We have other headlines here. I want to get your thoughts on this Nance situation and the call to South African companies to vacate Nigeria.
I mean, some will feel tit for tat. You know, Nigerians apparently have been killed in South Africa, and it looks like nothing official is being done to safeguard the lives of Nigerians. And now suddenly you have this student body who have gone and protested in front of MTN, among others, South African-owned businesses in Nigeria, and they're now calling for South Africans to be evacuated, so to speak. And then you get this lady, I think her name is Jojosi, the spokesperson for South African side, saying they're troubled by this. But, you know, they should have seen it coming. I really don't appreciate the silence on this issue. It's a very delicate issue.
But I spoke with this chairwoman of Diaspora Commission, I think W. Erewa, over the weekend. And she was saying that the government is working with the South African government investigating the matter. And she even said that there's a possible meeting soonest between both presidents to see how they can figure out a way out of this situation. Is it rhetorics, or should we believe this woman who is always, giving us, talking to us? Yes, she is responding. She is talking about what's going on. She speaks for the commission and for people in diaspora as best, some say as best as she can.
Well, again, I wouldn't want to dismiss it as rhetorics because, you don't know what's going on behind the scenes. You'd like to believe that they have our best interests at heart. What I feel is it's a little too late. Why didn't they jump into action sooner? It almost feels as though they were triggered by these protests in front of, because had they acted soon enough, you wouldn't have had people resorting to a kind of self-help. That's what it looks like.
Well, with such protests actually achieve anything?
Well, look at what he's achieving. This lady says she's concerned. Adultery
and action are two different things. Yeah, scaring somebody
without
sometimes.
The protest, imagine what would have happened. I just feel that sometimes, unless you let people know that it's pinching you, they don't tend to kick into action, unfortunately.
Well, let's hope for the best with that situation. And these Ganduje and Sanusi.
During this period of
even
peace,
now that we're talking about peace, we're hearing...
It's really ironic, isn't it? Because he's saying, don't go to his Doba. This is an opportunity for you to show that really there is peace. At times you see the two of them, holding hands in public and seeming like they buried the hatchet.
I wonder how these men do it.
It's crazy. But again, it takes me back to this whole issue of my concern, which is that you have people in authority who are able to use their position to fight personal wars. That's really what it looks like, because the story dates back to the fact that Sanusi didn't support his own, Ganduje's petition, or rather he's putting himself forward to be governor, and now he's governor. He wants to show him, essentially, you stepped on my toes, I'll deal with you, and he's using his authority to fight a personal war. Why can't you be magnanimous? Why can't you recognize that you're there as a servant of the people and put aside petty squabbles? Because everybody's watching you and you're really not showing
But the funny part in all of this is that Sanusi hasn't spoken a word, to my knowledge, about this continued situation.
Even when he was apparently, they served him a petition to go to court, he responded in very, very terse terms, just basically saying, look, all these things are fabricated, that there's no such basis for it. And that was the end of it. So you haven't really heard much from Sanusi. Perhaps he's just watching to see how far Ganduje will play his card. Yeah.
All right, we have more papers here. Let's look at this day before we go to others. Military police jostle to recapture suspected Taraba kidnap kingpin. Bodies of slain policemen arrive Abuja hospital. That's on the front page. We also have Baka Desala to our Muslim brothers and sisters, yes. In renewed onslaught, scores of ISWAP fighters killed in Borno, says NAF. That's a comment coming from the Chief of Air Staff, Marshal Sadiq Abubakar. On the bottom of that picture, you will see Power Discos. Siemens signed MOU on supply expansion plan. I'll be talking about what they're going to do for us in the power sector. They're still moving forward in that agreement. Go find details rather on page 8 of the paper. If you go to the top, you'll see this one that's captioned Analyst. Declining crude oil prices may worsen Nigeria's vulnerabilities, one of another recession if trend continues. NDDC seeks SGF's intervention to recover outstanding 1.2 trillion naira statutory allocations. On the back page, for some reason, I do like to read some of these thoughts. I don't agree with them most of the time, but you just reflect on that person's position, and then you analyze it with someone else's thought, and then you try to find a balance if there is any. Please go try and read the back of this. Today, it's talking about why did he come back? That's Shaka Momodu speaking. This republic, that's Nigeria, and President Muhammadu Buhari's picture is on there. You might want to wonder why this caption is, and the way they caption it sometimes you just want to read and get what's on there.
I could even volunteer to say, of course, why did he come back? Maybe something that a number of people may have on their minds. You pushed to come for a second term, and now you're here, and we're looking at you, and we're waiting for some sort of evidence that you have a mandate to do something revolutionary, if that's not the wrong use of words. But I want to turn that question around and say, why did you vote him in? Because it's not that long since he was voted in. Why are you asking why did he come back? And
well,
presumably the majority
have you read the piece in full? Because sometimes, like I say, the headline could be misleading.
Yeah.
I've read, there's some things I posted on Twitter, some of the piece I read last week, and it's basically, you see the caption, you think it's a foregone conclusion, and then you read the piece, you find some of them.
On the title alone.
Yes.
If people, and I have heard people ask that question, why did he come back? And I'm saying, I want to turn it on its head.
Why did you vote him in? Okay, let's look at the big ones on the front page. Yeah. That's on the back page. We just did a little trick there. All right.
Well, I mean, nobody can say they're not really troubled, deeply, deeply troubled by this whole bit about in Taraba State with the military who have killed policemen and civilians in this process of apparently releasing a kingpin, a robber, an armed robber kingpin. Because what are we looking at? It reads like something in the Wild West. Why are we in a situation where every man for himself, and why are you even hearing that the military are connected with a kingpin in the first place? So, even though we are yet to uncover what really brought this about, it's troubling, or even on the surface, to say, why should we be in a position where police lives are at stake because the military, apparently there was an allegation that they were shot at because they didn't stop at checkpoints, but we all know now that that's been dismissed.
There's always been this sort of friction between the military and the police.
This is the wrong time for that.
Yes, and we really think that they should know better. Both of them are charged with securing this country. It would seem a more appropriate kind of relationship if they are working in synergy.
But I'm not even so bothered about that, even though that's troubling. Why is there a connection between the release of a king? It suggests that there's some sort of monetary incentive involved. And now we're looking at, do you say you have militia, or what's the word? Mercenary. They seem to be operating like mercenaries at the moment, in which case it tells you more about the people at the top. When you get a body language from those in authority that tells you that no nonsense, this is what we're dealing with. But instead, it seems like they're reading from the top that everyone is in discord and is every man for himself. So there's a sense of incompetence running right the way from the top to the bottom, and it's troubling.
All right, thank you very much, Ekene. We're still here on Off the Press. We'll just go on a quick break, and when we come back, we'll be having a surprise for you. Just stay with us. The surprises, we're back. Thank you for staying with us. That's the nature of surprises. You don't know what to expect. I still have Ekene Ezeji with me in the studio. Thanks for staying. We go straight to the Punch newspaper. I'm told we have less than 5 minutes to complete this program this morning. The screamer here is Nolge has reported governors stealing LG funds. That's NFIU. Don't help governors to siphon funds. Union wants members. Council chiefs should disobey governor's illegal order. That's the unit speaking. And of course, we have the Eid al-Kabir celebration captured on the front page, different personalities and ceremonies. Salah, Governor Sultan call for peaceful coexistence. That's another one on the front page on your screen right now. Just beneath that, you will see top monarchs sue Fayemi over traditional council chair. And then the sad story about the death of 5 siblings in Lagos is captured here. Lekki strippers will make Tekno a scapegoat, says federal government. We're speaking on behalf of the federal government. Details are captured on 4 and 5 of the paper. And at the top, we have Senate Lords Enang denies 2.2 billion naira Ruger budget. TUC gives Wednesday deadline on minimum wage. Police hunt for Wadume Come Taraba Forest. That's on the Taraba situation. A little bit of business on the front page as well. And on the back, we have Showore still in the news. And today, Henry is talking about they will come after me, no doubt in it. That's Showore speaking. They will come after me, no doubt in it. I guess that's what he's saying. I haven't read it, so you need to read it to really understand why the caption is necessary.
I read a bit of that. It was almost like they were repeating something he'd said before he was taken away. So they're saying it was almost prophetic that he had said he was anticipating that they would come after him if he started doing what he was doing. But going to the Nolge story, the National Union of Local Government Employees, they're saying that essentially what we always knew, that somehow the state governors are preying on the local governors. And when money is being allocated to the local governors, the state governors are asking for a kind of levy. Some would better know it as a tithe from them. And the question is, why do they feel such a sense of ownership over the local government? You could say that the link is because the local government came into power on the tails of so it's almost like godfatherism playing out again. But what's happening is that the NOLGE, the National Union of Local Government Employees, has taken this issue to the union that deals with the financing and said, look, these people are coming after us. They're going to make us, they're finding another way to get this money by making us pay for certain works, like road works, that are meant to be allocated to the state governors. And so the spokesperson says, look, if you go ahead and pay this money, we'll hold you accountable. So you owe it to yourself to withstand them. Don't let them bully you. But obviously, you're not dealing with the problem at the roots. Why are they being bullied in the first place? So we have issues in the way we deal with our power. The power, you say, trails, so to speak. We need to separate them more so people have a sense of independence and you have a clear separation of powers.
Quick thought on the TUC giving a Wednesday deadline on minimum wage.
Well, it's overdue. We really do feel that, the minimum wage shouldn't be something we still add. It took us a long time to arrive at that point where they finally, with a sigh of relief, agreed to pay the 30,000. So now why are they being told that they must? I mean, when it comes to issues like pension, you don't hear them dragging their feet. Their pension, So why are we now having to force them to pay what is just the basic minimum? We're not even saying that it's enough.
All right, The Nation is our last sport paper, unfortunately. We have Jonathan's ex-aide senator linked to Iwu's 1.2 billion naira cash, 6 others under probe over election bribery fund. And we have something on Air Force hits Boko Haram fighters. Gunmen invade UI female hostel. Those are some of the stories on the front page. Why Power Will Remain Epileptic by TCN. And on the back page, we have Revolution When. Your thoughts?
We can't seem to get away from that. Again, this Jonathan's ex-aide, the fact that money, it's huge sums we're talking about. At one point, I think, is it 3 billion? And people are still, saying, no, I have it, no, you don't have it. How did this money get into your hands in the first place? Surely we can follow the money trail. And I feel that, if we need to focus on just one of these cases and make an example of just one of these people, because there's a sense in which, because there's also another story which we don't have time to get into, where you have a transfer from one governor to the other, and people are looting either cars or property. So there's a sense in which people feel it's free for all, since
government property,
everybody should just go and grab. I just want to quickly talk about those 5 siblings that were burnt in the fire, because they were locked in, apparently. They were left under the supervision of a neighbor who locked them in and went off on their business of their own. And unfortunately, whenever this fire started, I'm sure they tried to escape, but their bodies were burnt beyond recognition. And this tells us again how careless we are with the lives of people under our care. I feel really sad. You read the stories, interestingly, they're different. There's Yoruba, Igbo, and Hausa. Even though they're meant to be siblings, they all have, there's a Chidinma, there's a Yoruba name, and I'm not sure how they all came to be related. But the point is, you have 5 lives, plus a woman who was there as well, I think, burnt beyond recognition.
May their souls rest in peace. And we do hope that our government will be a bit more proactive and people will be a bit more security conscious and, fireproof their home for such emergencies. Yes. Thank you very much for coming, Ekene.
As always.
As always. And of course, thank you for watching. I wish you a lovely day and enjoy the holidays for those of you that are home. We are here making sure your home time is enjoyable. Take care of yourself.